And on that note,
All right, after that one.
YouTube, what's going on? It's your boy Buddha back in the building. We're doing another LC Pro podcast with the main squad. My co-hosts, Tweacz.
Yes. Hello.
And TheKryptman.
What's going on?
Ooh, we made it for another week. Fourth week.
We are here. A full month of this now.
Wow.
Awesome.
Going strong.
Very cool.
It's a lot of fun. I enjoy it every week. It's basically my opportunity to milk you guys of all the info that I can. But we've got some...
You say that, but like my content for this is just coming and sitting and listening to you guys talk.
Yeah, but you got to understand,
easy content.
Even when you just chime in with one sentence, that can have so much value. Listen, don't take yourself for granted now. But we're here today. Did you just run her on the screen, Tweacz? Do you have Dommy Mommy with you?
No, I didn't run Dommy Mommy.
You didn't run Dommy Mommy.
I'm just collecting, rainbow clusters. No big deal.
Dommy Mommy entered the building. Was it yesterday, right? It's my favorite nickname for any LC character. By far. The infamous Degrogue, however it's Degrogue.
Pretty much just split into Degrogue.
Degrogue. That is going to help a lot of people, I think, right off the bat.
Yeah, because in the last name, people play like rogue characters and stuff. That's the last part of her name, so it's pretty easy.
I've heard people call her Degerouge.
Yeah, that's not
wrong.
Yeah, it's not Degrogue. It's Degrogue.
Degrogue, yes.
Yeah.
Cool. Okay.
Yeah.
You can just call her mommy,
Dommy Mommy is so
dude,
good.
They could have done so much with her too. Like just take her helmet off and just get they could have done a lot.
Well, did you see Barlene's little comment she threw out, whether she was trolling or not? Like she can't be saying wait till the summer version of Degrogue. She can't be saying that.
Dude.
I mean,
she messes around.
I mean,
he messes around.
He messes around.
We've also heard wait for swimsuit Zekis or swimsuit Ray. So I mean,
right, but
any of those things is acceptable.
That's a more identifiable meme statement to me. When he's talking about this thick Dommy Mommy. I mean, look at the thighs.
Dude.
Anyway,
so real quick before we cover any actual technical aspect of this character, Degrogue's real ultimate ability is the ability to draw out the thirst of the entire Discord community. I'm not even a
waifu guy. I'm not even a waifu guy, and I'm full bandwagon on this meme.
Man, same. I don't know why I can't join that. I just really am I the only person who doesn't get that?
What?
Probably.
You're probably the only person who doesn't get that.
What?
I need some skin, homie. What is this?
Bro,
but that's
kind of skin. It's the bottom half of her face. Come on.
The bottom half. But it's the mystery behind the armor. You can see the shape behind it. That's what makes it what is this now?
Honestly, to me, her coolest part is her cape. That thing's dope.
Oh my God, Tweacz!
I made a Degrogue emote from a piece of artwork that we got. So now there's a Degrogue face emote.
That's great.
That's freely available if you want it for your.
She definitely she needs some lip injections. That's for sure.
Just starting off, I just wish her sprite looked like her at all.
It's
just
literally
like an imperial warrior, those lame dark colors. And this is just purple and all cool hues and shit. It's just,
and look at the legs.
This is not a thing.
Where are the spikes coming out of the legs? It is very strange. That's very strange. I knew there was big differences, but looking at them side by side now, it's not the same person.
You're talking about between her art and her sprite?
Right. Her sprite looks like an imperial warrior.
I mean, she's got the helmet, she's got the spear and everything, but yeah, she's not her actual.
The colors are just way off.
Colors
is not as extreme looking as her art.
Well, and also in her pixel art, to me, she's got a waist coat tail. It starts at her waist, not at her back. With the cape.
Yeah, I mean, it really is just totally different.
It is completely different, especially.
She has a really busy sprite too. There's a lot going on there.
She does, but they didn't make it the same busy.
Yeah.
No, it is. That's
know.
very awkward now that I'm looking at it like that. But
But you just can picture her
Interesting.
like this, the main portrait. I mean, if you just picture her like that, it'll be all right.
that's
Everything's okay.
yeah, the
Just
artwork
close your
is
eyes and
insane.
listen to her voice. That's the real important part. Her voice
Oh my
actress
God.
is
Her voice-
amazing.
Her voice creeps me out, man. I don't know what it is.
It's so
It's
good.
So creepy.
It's so good.
Reminds me of like a Dragon Ball Potara fusion.
Yeah, man.
She sounds powerful.
She does. She does. And speaking of sounding powerful, I was wrong. She's also extremely powerful. Period. Like
Real good character.
I'm upset with myself. I'm upset with myself because I've allowed myself to think that like if a physical damage dealer doesn't come with dual wield, it skews my naive perception. Because I mean it's easy to just slap dual wield, especially for like PvE content. But
Oh yeah.
I mean,
everything-
as it turns out, dual wield is really, really good on her. Like,
Right.
Go figure.
right. But the
Go
thing
figure.
is, and it's like, dang, I don't want to spend 14 SC on it. But
Yes, you do.
She comes correct. Well, that's what I'm getting to. She comes with all the other stuff you'd be spending SC for.
A lot of it, yeah.
A lot of it,
Her
not
kit
all of it. A lot of it.
is well allocated and very well focused.
Just
One of
very,
the things-
very focused. Yeah.
One of the things I really like about it is that unlike, say, like BB Shin or even Balin to some degree, you lose a lot less by taking her the dual wield path than you have with previous characters. Like the only thing you miss out on is two-handed spear.
Which is
And two-handed spear is a little bit of damage cap. It's like 2k damage cap and some crit rate and maybe another rider on there or something. But you really don't miss out on too much of her kit by giving her dual wield and enabling her big PP damage.
Right. Yeah, they need to do something about those two-handed skills. They're just trash.
So
Yeah.
but it's not necessarily trash. Like adding that in with more single wheel passives would have been probably very good for her, but they didn't give her anything else, so it's not worth it.
I mean, and the two-handed passives are good in Arena.
Yeah.
Because they give you that same 20% damage boost. You get the crit, which is not double crit, like double crit chance or whatever, but it also minimizes the chances of your enemies like blocking. Because that's one of the big problems with running dual wield in Arena is you give your opponent twice the number of chances to activate guard. And you're also giving them like more chances to mitigate your damage because it's going through mitigation twice instead of just once because it's split. So for PvP, the two-handed passives are actually very good.
Mm-hmm.
As long as
I
they're
use-
free.
I mean, I use two-handed spear on Tsukasa
Yeah,
in
that's
Arena,
fair.
and that's not free.
In
But, yeah.
in Arena, I brought this question up because, and I'm sure both of you can answer this. Why is the damage so much less in there?
So originally it wasn't. Originally damage had no like additional mitigation on it. And what that led to was what I like to call S3 roulette, which is where you would take Zuglis and you would give him quick trigger and you would hope that it hit S3. And if it hit S3, you basically won in the first 3 seconds of the match because you would use it and it would kill every single enemy.
The entire team, yeah. No matter what.
Magic was also way out of hand. It was basically like if a spell got cast, your entire team was dead. So they mitigated it to make Arena more interesting, which I think they did.
I think that was a good call.
successfully.
Yeah, I think,
it was a great call.
I do think along the lines of that, they've have been doing a great job of making metas or like being able to let you make metas. Like there's no at this point we have so many good units in the game that there's no one team wins every single game.
Right. It's a formula.
I mean, that's
It's more of a
arguably
formula.
it's arguably how far along. Like I mean, I'm assuming Krypton and I can probably make a team that's going to beat every other team. But
Yeah, I was gonna say, hey, I've got a team that has like a 99% win
Yeah,
rate. What are you
right,
talking
but-
about?
So
but-
humble.
but you can do that with many units, right?
Yeah, true.
Mm-hmm.
We
Yeah,
just
it's,
talked
which is
about the
very
puzzle
cool.
concept.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
yeah.
Where it's like, it's not necessarily these 4 units. It's more like you can use these 4 roles, or you can use this slight subset of that where it's kind of similar, but you're doing a different thing and focusing more on control, or focusing more on like afflictions and controlling that way, or just straight up PvPS and focusing on, you can't die if everybody's dead. So I mean, there's a lot of ways to solve the problem that is Arena, much like there are many ways to solve the problem that is PvE in this game.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, that's really the beauty.
And you know
of
what's funny, Crypt? People ask me about like building units all the time. Like, how do you theory craft and how do you build up units? Which I think you would agree on this. I stumbled upon this the other day. Many of the times that I'm building units, I have one goal in mind, and that's it. I don't vary. I don't like if I'm building PDPS, I'm building skills or building skill recharges, stuff like that. If I'm building an ultimate build, I build straight up anything that goes with ultimate. People like think about builds so much that they try to expand on different roles for one unit, but if you just use a unit for one single role, just like you're talking about the roles in PvP, then that's so much more helpful than building units.
Yeah,
like Degrogue especially, like if I'm trying to build for a build against this bird, like I know exactly what I want on it.
No defensive passives, nothing,
yeah,
all damage.
All damage. That's it.
Our singular focus is how hard can we hit that cap?
How hard? How to max white cap the S3. That's pretty much it. That's what you go for. Like you don't need anything else, and it works great.
Surprise! A lot of people want to try to they want a unit to do everything. And you're not going to get a unit that does everything, even if they've got an incredibly broad kit. Even with characters who come basically full built out of the box, like Nero. Nero has nearly everything that he needs straight out the box.
Yep.
So you can really customize and tailor him to stuff, but it still needs to be specific because he's still not going to do everything. He's going to be an amazing PDPS or an amazing breaker or whatever you build him for, but you're not going to get one unit that does absolutely everything. Nor should you try. Half of this game, half the fun in this game is building up a competent team as opposed to just building okay, I've got one unit that's going to carry me through everything. That doesn't happen.
That was me with DB Ray when I first started, though.
I mean, and for story, it's fine. For story, you can
right.
focus one or two characters, but once you get past that and once you get into the harder chapters of the story, it's going to behoove you to have more than just one unit built.
Yep.
That's kind of how you transition from early into mid game, and then from mid game into late game is just by building out your roster of usable units.
And also identifying who those usable units are, and then not straying the path. I think a lot of people will start investing in a character. It's all about the focus. And then, you pull a new character that you didn't think you had, and you start investing into them, and that keeps happening. So you're 2 months in, and you can't clear some of the later stages in story because you don't have a team fleshed out.
You have 16 half-built units.
16 half-built
nobody
units.
Good.
And these units, in this game especially, their potential does not come out until that ability board is maxed 90% of the time.
Yep. Dude.
Right.
When people say why can't my unit beat this? Why can't I do that? It's usually because they don't have their skill board maxed.
You don't
which
have
is
the last
so important.
It's
so important.
Mean very much.
Yeah, once you get to level 80, 80 to 100, it's diminishing returns. You're not the stat boost from and those extra 20 levels are not that big. Just your main goal should be level 80.
And just like and Awakening 5 and 6.
Trees. Right.
5 and 6 are luxuries.
Absolutely.
Right.
Right.
Were you going to go into something, Tweacz?
No, I mean we could talk about Degrogue herself now.
I would. Yeah, if we can get into some kits, honestly, I want to actually direct this, which is towards both of you, but Krypt, because you are the PvP king in a lot of people's eyes. True. Have you been running this chick, and is she as hyped up in PvP as I think a lot of us think that she, should be?
I haven't yet, but I have no doubt that she's going to be extremely good at it. I've been thinking about what to prioritize to teach her to get her ready to go into the arena. I think I'm about there. There's a couple goofy little weird kind of niche things that I want to try out, but I definitely think that she's going to be a force to be reckoned with there. I was initially worried that she's just going to get like splattered by BB Shin, and obviously the solutions to that are one, fight teams without BB Shin,
Refresh.
or two, figure out a way to mitigate a lot of that damage. And I think I've got some ideas for it. I'm not going to spoil anything yet, but maybe next week we can talk about how the PvP build for this ended up.
Okay, perfect. Because I mean, I just want to throw my idea out there. I wanted to put God Slayer on Alice.
Not a bad idea.
That's a great plan. And I think speculation, of course, it's perfect marketing on Adis's part to put this girl out, put this Dami Mommy out, let her wreak havoc, show off what she can do, and then you release Alice, who is arguably a perfect counter. A week after.
Yeah, you're talking about the Alice banner that's about to come up?
The light damage with the God type. I mean, yes, she's gonna be very good against it if you put God Slayer. So the only issue with Degrogue is what we've seen recently, which has been fantastic for PvP units, is the fact that they're Slayer nil against themselves. So that's her biggest drawback. Is we've got Lilibet, Tsukasa, Gen, right? Gen does it against himself. Yeah, so
Slayer immune as well.
Yeah, so being Slayer immune is huge for PvP right now. That's kind of like the new meta. So the fact that she did not get that does give her a little bit of a drawback, unfortunately. That's her biggest. I think that's her biggest complaint. Like that would be the biggest complaint I have with her as a PvP unit.
That is like the optics of it look like that's her biggest weakness, right? It'll take some testing to figure out whether or not that's actually a liability.
Right.
One of the things I really like about her is that it's extremely easy to get her nil in all of the relevant things like curse and illness and stun.
Did we just see a new multiplier ring come out that has a +1 to everything? Which is
sure did.
Holy smokes, man!
Fun fact: if you slap that and the silver-tipped spear from Sulphur Pond on her, she has like all of the affliction resistances.
I was gonna say
right now,
I haven't seen I know silver-tipped spear is one of the best spears, but I don't know its effect personally.
So this is I'll have it on here right now. It just gives 3 +1s.
Good God.
Yep.
So poison, illness, especially the illness and stun, especially are two of the bigger ones too. So right now, without the multiplier ring, she's, I think she was nil already, right?
She comes nil for a couple things.
Her armor also has, or is it her armor? Something has stun resist.
So she comes nil to curse and illness, which is huge.
Yes.
But that's automatically +2, right? And I haven't tested if they're +3 or not, but I'm assuming they only code for +2.
Yeah, you can't go further.
But once you put on, excuse me, once you put on Silver-Tipped Sphere, it's going to raise illness to +3, which is going to be, it's going to mitigate against any V Anulamel stuff, so she can always be healed.
Right, because +3 is what I would refer to as like true nil. There's nothing you can do. There's not an ability in the game that will lower that to the point that they can be afflicted by it.
So it can go up to +3.
It can go up higher than that.
Oh, wow.
So you can get to +4 if you want. Just like the the holy water is gonna be here. I'm gonna just do the curse because this is the best explanation of how resistances work. So holy water itself is going to be, it gives nil, right? So it actually does give +2 itself, but as long as that it has an additional effect, which this is not the same thing at all. It has an additional effect of curse resistance +2 because this item itself gives curse +4, which makes any weak. it gives +4 to your resistance, right? So if you're already weak innately, it's gonna give, which is -1. You're gonna get +3 when you add one item, which is nuts. This is probably one of the best PvP. This is probably the best PvP item in the game. I would argue.
It's certainly one of them, especially with Gaze of the End being so rampant and having that curse chance right off the bat a lot of the times.
Yeah.
And that's a lot of SC investment otherwise.
Oh yeah.
Right, to get stun. I'm sorry, not stun. To get curse resist and curse
8
nil.
SC, 4 SC, like you just gotta add that in. Like that's stuff you don't need to be using and just use for an item. And that's protection. That's only for one unit, right?
Yeah.
Now what did I want to add again? I wanted to add the shield or the ring. So this thing is nuts. It has +1 to every single resistance.
I think that's
It's
the
so
one to
good.
get after the red ring. Like,
100%. So
yeah.
I went for the physical ring first, just because I love damage cap, love big PP numbers, whatever. Whatever.
Everyone does.
If you care more about
But-
PvP than PvE, the resist ring is actually better because
Yeah,
you're not going to be
agreed.
capping an arena in any meaningful way anyway, unless you're running BB Shin, and that's its own thing.
Right.
And as to me, I like PvE more, so I went for the
right.
physical ring. Crypt, on the other hand, I don't know what he went for, but
I've got physical and resistance so far, and I'm about 40 coins off, or 30 something coins off from my last ring. So
nice,
Lord.
very very good.
I should be grinding multiplayer right now.
Wow, we're straight. All right,
as should we all.
I should be too, but you know what? You guys are taking away from my grind. So. No, I'm just kidding. So yeah, it adds +1 to all the resistances. So if you add this onto her, I mean, she needs a spear regardless.
Mm-hmm.
Illness and stun resistance, fantastic. She's already at +3 illness. She's at +1 stun, I believe. This gets it another 1 in stun, another 1 in illness that you don't really need. But bigger news, that gives her now she has +3 in curse, which means she cannot be cursed at all.
Mm-hmm.
At this
That's
point,
insane.
all you need, and I think, was blind? Blind was only resistance. So if you put +1 in blind and +1 in stun, she's literally immune to pretty much everything that's harmful to her.
That's nuts.
That's all you need in her kit is +1 more of stun, +1 more of blind, and she's like literally just immune to everything. All really
All status.
crippling ailments, really.
It's pretty gross.
It's
gonna
pretty
be great.
awesome.
She's gonna be real annoying on defense.
Yep.
Yeah,
Gosh.
it's gonna be.
Because a lot of
She's
people
gonna
are
be
like,
very
oh, well,
good.
if I bring V, I can just disable the entire enemy team, and then
Nope.
Degrogue is just gonna be there like, hey,
And
what's up?
you know how insane it is when, I mean, especially me, I'm not scared of going up against V because all of my units that need it are +3 in all the skills that they need, right? So curse, stun, Emtheria for silence +3, blind usually if I can make it work, but illness at least nil, if at least +2 if not +3. And it's just like you can just run through teams. Because V at that point is more like a liability to them than anything because he can't do anything.
Yeah.
Here's a hot take. I literally only put resistances on Emtheria, and everybody else is just on their own. Because she's the defensive passives for my entire team. Get at me.
She can cure all everybody.
Well, I mean, you can use Godly Body and Rapid Recovery and stuff, and it's actually pretty good. And
Yeah,
you can use Unchained Beast, but you don't have to. But it's very nice because people do build their defensive teams to cripple the offensive team with ailments nowadays, especially with V. So, dude, this especially, she has a fantastic ailment kit, especially now with the MP ring, which is again not necessarily you have to use on her. You can use it on pretty much anybody to get all those +1s. It's pretty nuts.
That's gonna be very.
And you know what I haven't
useful to
tested
know.
yet, Crypt? If Zlorg, if this stacks with Zlorg, like which one goes first? With that other skill, the +1 to all of them, I actually haven't tested that.
Interesting. He's such a weird character, isn't he? Like weak to nearly
He's
everything?
-1 to everything. Yes.
Well,
Actually, you know what? Why don't we
his
just-
design.
You guys keep talking.
They want you to get a status ailment on him, because he gets his buff when you get a status ailment.
Right, but I mean it depends what status ailment you want, right? So if I was to build him perfectly, I would have nil to everything except for poison.
I mean,
And I would want
just
and I would
because he's
want him to poison.
designed that way, and just because that is a passive he has, it's not ideal.
Always
in all
optimal, yeah.
circumstances to use.
That's just like forcing a unit to use single wield. Like it's not always. It might be good, but it's not always.
It's not optimal, right?
Right.
I get that. I get that. Okay.
Oh,
So yeah.
Asking about my trading space. This is my trading space right now, guys.
Just
Good.
no.
God.
I haven't bought anything except the rings, so like, whatever. But I mean, I have a lot of materials.
Yeah, you will.
Yeah.
Nice.
Did anybody else? Not that it's really a thing that I do anyway, but did anybody else, because of all of this just excess of clusters, just get Degrogue and immediately max out their ability board without even checking what you had in your inventory? It's like,
100%.
It's totally.
I just need.
I've been doing that for a while now, Crypt.
Well, yeah.
Just kidding. Just kidding.
I'm
Just
not
kidding.
surprised.
You and me, that was for.
I know.
for-
I know.
I'm
Had a
not
couple people
surprised
be
about
like, "Man, I didn't even have to consider how many
You
rainbow."
didn't have to
colors
think.
I've got."
Yep.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Nope.
Can't
No
tell all these
question.
rainbow monsters.
So okay, well then we'll revisit her true showcase in PvP next week. Then when we'll
All
give
right.
Crypt
We
some
can.
time.
Yeah, we can talk about her kid now. Yeah.
I was gonna say Kit and PvP.
All right. Let me take this stuff on her just so I have her naked.
You really don't like that armor.
Man, no one likes the armor. Come on.
Hey,
All right.
I
Let
do.
me
What are you
take.
talking about?
I think it's dope.
I'm an armor guy. All right, you know how you got those TNA guys? Yeah, I'm an armor guy. Give me a 7 foot tall woman clad in entirely black
Oh my
scary armor. That's it.
God.
They found my thing. I didn't know this was my thing. Thanks, thanks, Itis. You helped me find my
Wow.
thing.
You're ridiculous.
Spikes coming out of every angle.
Yeah, absolutely. I want her to be hard on the outside, soft on the inside.
Ridiculous. Absolutely. Just absurd.
Alrighty.
All right. So, I mean, we could talk about what's good on her. All right. First off, her charisma. Fantastic. I use it in tower a little bit. It's just stacking god mimicries on everybody, and it's awesome. People are just so buff.
Mm.
The plus 15% to defense in mind is huge. I mean, not that we see much use for it nowadays with content. Like the hardest content we have is Lambda, Reaper, Pablo. Like, you don't need it for that. You can build up a team, especially with the power creep nowadays. You don't really need it, but it is fantastic. Oh, so Crypt, maybe you can talk about this. I actually haven't used it very much. The black hole, her spell.
Oh, it's so good.
So
It's actually
explain
really
what it
good.
does, because I mean, you told
So-
me it's pretty good CC. So
When it goes off, first off, it doesn't take 10 million years to wind up like Starverse does or like Alhuma does. So it's already got that going for it. It's a pretty quick wind up. Then it pulls everybody who is pullable to the middle of the screen. So it's like having Lagrabos in the middle of the screen hit S3 on everybody. So it bunches everybody up real quick, which I don't know if I've talked about it here, but I'm a huge fan of anything that pulls enemies together. Like
Yes.
Nadine has a skill
Big
that does
fan.
it. S. Lilibet has a skill that does it.
any type of focusing
Sukasa
CC,
actually does
fantastic.
it to some amount. It pulls in just a little bit into the in front of him.
Yeah, I
But
mean,
I
Crypt,
absolutely love
you remember the Randy meta, dude. His S1,
Yeah.
just exactly kind of the similar thing. His S1 just rips people into the same spot and just clumps them together, and you can just hit everyone at once. It's amazing.
You S1 to gather everybody. You S2 to dunk on them for your incredibly huge 2 hits of 9,999. And then you S3 and it stuns them, and he was actually a control character. That's what people don't get about it.
Yeah.
He's a great neutral DPS. It's but beyond that,
Before he was the meta before they started making unflinchable units or unflinchable enemies, because he could just do that willy nilly. It was amazing.
because if you hit somebody with his S3, they just stop until his S3 is done. They just stop where they are. They're not stunned. They're not fainted. They're not anything. They're just stopped. They're just stopped right there.
That's
everyone's clumped together. Oh my god, weird.
So yeah, it casts pretty quickly. You can get her instant cast just by putting the casting accessories on her.
Yep.
You don't need high level magic chant because she's already got it in her tree. So she does have a little bit of casting passives. I think she's got immovable object too, right?
She does.
So
And
she's got some
that's big for her, because you know how that works,
defensive
right?
casting.
It is damage related.
Yeah.
It's hit related. She's got such good passive defense mechanics that she will be able to get off spells very consistently.
So it goes off quick. It pulls everybody in. It does decent damage. I think it's got a relatively good number of hits. Obviously, it'd be better if Lily could cast it, but literally all magic would be for the double hits. But yeah, no, it's good control. It's good damage. It's really cool looking. Visually, it's very appealing.
I would agree.
So yeah, I think it's one of our first good tier 4 spells.
I'm going to slap this on her to see how fast it is, because
Naturally,
Why
it's not very fast, but with the accessories, it's literally instant, which is nice.
That's pretty much
level.
every attack spell. Rad Moon and
yes, but
Cultist.
it's so the only other one that I think is on the way on the power creep level of it was Zekis's at T4, because halfway in right after the cast, it actually does a freezing animation, and for the flinchable enemies, it before the damage comes out, it freezes them like 3 seconds in.
The like ice
Which is-
spikes that show up.
Yeah.
Oh, it's so cool.
Yeah, so it does
Such
it a
cool
little bit
ability.
sooner. So I think they were just they're trying to mitigate that like huge cast time that like Apocalypse or like Alhuma has, like where nothing happens until the spell actually goes off.
Dude, Starverse is one of the, in my opinion, worst because like you see it back there in the back, and it's like,
And it's
oh,
just
okay.
doing nothing for like 5
Yeah.
seconds.
I'm like, oh, neat, very pretty. Can we get this show on the road, please?
Right.
We are on a timer.
So this is just I'm gonna test her right now. This is just with the Instacast accessories. So she's got plus 70% speed right now from the Coldest Pendant, 30% or admin 20% and HLMC in her kit 20%. So
And she even
that's
Oh,
super
I
gives
mean,
the,
that's yeah,
and
she's
it's
one
gonna,
of the few
it's gonna
units.
put them all in the center, like
very
clumped.
cool, very cool.
Very cool. Yep, exactly.
She's one of the few units that truly benefits from all of the things on Cultist Pendant too, since it's got that extra dark damage on it.
Right.
And usually it's like, okay, cool. If I happen to hit a dark spell, that's great. She's only hitting dark spells. There are only dark spells here.
Yep, pretty awesome.
I'm
That's
excited
a
to
very
try out,
fast though. That's awesome.
Giga Delay and see how that works in Arena. If you cast it in PvE, it just misses, which is funny
Oh,
because
that's
enemies
great.
don't have SCT.
Right.
Yeah, they don't have like skill stocks like normal. They do whatever they want.
They just do whatever they want, as exemplified in the Zuglis fight, where when you get him to low health, he just starts ulting over and over and
my
over and
gosh.
doing his S2.
Or like his S2 over and over. It's just like what the.
Like, I hope you didn't plan on doing anything aside from dying, because that's all that's left on the menu today, boys.
Pretty funny.
So yes, she's incredible. There's just there's no doubt about it.
Starting to see more and more of her running around in multiplayer. Starting to see a lot of people hosting using her.
That reminds me, I should jump in one and see if what I can do. Because I mean, she's just not.
There are no multiplayer matches right now. It's sad.
It's hardly
Are.
any
Listen.
multis. Hardly any multi
you guys don't look hard enough. Come on.
True.
What do I want to do? I
I
want to
did.
do Aldana.
So yeah, I mean, she's up there with one of the best nukers if you build her right.
Yes.
She's a great breaker.
She
too. has
can.
great
So for the Jala fight especially, she can one shot just based on pure mathematical max damage. I haven't built her to the fact that solo she can do it. When I used Gen, which again, and the Valiant Arc to get her, keep her at full health and like get all those passives, and she can nuke one hit, which I did before the beginning of the stream, but not yet have I built her up to be able to do that single handedly. But I have her level 70 with Awaken 2 and only 71 SC, so like I'm assuming she'll be able to do it. Unfortunately, as Nero's issue is, her S3 is interruptible. Even if you have like Aldana and stuff, that ult does interrupt it. So the best idea to do it with her, if you want to get max damage, is to wait till after the ult and just nuke him.
That's the one thing she doesn't have. She's not quite fast enough. Like with latency, you can occasionally like sneak in maybe 75-80% of her S3.
Yeah.
But you're gonna want to hit the entire thing. One thing that I've noticed that's really annoying is the restart time on her animations is actually pretty bad. So if you like go in for the S3 and then you get hit by lightning, like a random lightning bolt hits you and flinches you, it can take like long enough to restart her stuff that the boss is already going to be dead. If you're not running with people who do 0 DPS.
Right. Which is it's common. It's common, sadly. I notice. I notice.
Yeah. I don't notice it that much, but
no?
I don't really.
I wouldn't imagine
rely
you
on
do.
anyone else.
Yeah,
it's a little different.
I think we're not necessarily like we have a little bit of confirmation bias, right? Because most of the runs we do are so fast. It's just like, oh, everybody must be clearing this quickly.
Yeah.
Which is not always the case.
No.
I've been in some games where it's like, all right, I'm going to not do anything because we're waiting for the ult anyway, right? I'm going to give it a couple extra seconds and see, just see where my teammates are, like how much they're bringing.
And usually you can tell, like, by their unit selection if they're going to be doing any damage or not.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
Like, if you see an S Lilibet with a level 1 Swordsman's Tales arc, they're probably going to nuke.
Yep.
It's probably going to be fine. Yeah.
Sorry.
Very exciting. Exciting stuff. Stay humble.
Let me see if I can do some damage with her.
Gotta walk among the common people occasionally to know what it's like. And that's one thing that I was talking about this on stream last night. I actually miss playing my free-to-play alt because it was so much of a different experience from my main account. But now I play 3 accounts that are all just like dripped out in paid gear. So it's a very similar experience between the 3 of them. And I don't know, it might be disconnecting me from people a little bit more. I'm losing perspective on what it's like to be free to play.
It's natural, yeah.
Maybe I'll just have to start playing my free to play alt again and play 4 accounts. The real problem is I don't have enough room. I don't have enough like screen real estate, or I'm not smart enough to figure out how to get all of that on screen at the same time in a presentable manner.
Oh, hello, Buddha. And
oh, wow.
Oh, wow, amazing.
Zez,
all right, well, you can do a damage if you want, but I'm S3 and right after the ult, so.
I'm just going to let you, I'm going to stand still. I'm going to let you do your thing. Alex
I ran into the homies.
That's pretty funny.
That's very funny. All right.
What a coincidence.
I'm just going to do it after the ult, so.
I'm not going
to waste our S3.
I'm not doing anything.
We're just going to stand here and watch.
Still Alice.
We're just along for the ride.
Hey guys, no one's doing anything, in fact.
Oh, no, there they go.
Everybody's just waiting to see what you do.
Let's see it.
I mean, if they would actually let me like DPS and see it, but I mean, I guess not.
Well, also, I notice, is it just me? Like sometimes damage doesn't register.
Yeah, it doesn't all the time.
It's latency.
I'll launch my first Alice S2. I'll see the damage, lagged, of course. I'll go to launch my second, and it doesn't inflict anything.
Yeah, it's a latency thing. I've seen damage take place up to like 5 or 10 seconds.
Bro, I had a 30-second battle last night, and I was like, dude, we're not doing. I'm just sat there like we're not doing anything.
No.
Like there's no damage. Just not doing anything. It was 28. It was like 32. It was like 28 seconds. I'm done the battle, and I was like, what's going on here?
What is happening? Why won't you just die? This is not how this normally goes.
Right.
Not at all.
I mean, does that just come down to like how much server capability Adis has?
So
I'm not familiar in that realm.
This is going to be all armchair diagnosis of what's going on here, because obviously we don't really know what's going on behind the scenes. But I believe that because their multiplayer structure is peer-to-peer, meaning that we are hosting on our devices and not on their servers,
right?
That you will experience. Sometimes it's going to be extra premium, right? Sometimes you're going to be with people that you've got an amazing connection to. Maybe like you are physically close to each other, within a couple states or within the same country. Because like I know Tweacz and I have very little issue when we play together, and we are literally on opposite sides of the country. But then because this is a global game and we're hitting people in, I don't know, say Singapore or, just any of these further flung places from the center of the universe, the United States of America. You can fight me.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, great, right? American exceptionalism in your last Cloudia Global podcast. Let's get at it. But no, I think that just, physical distance has something to do with it. Or like Australia, right? If we get people in Australia, because all of their internet goes through what is essentially a like plastic straw at the bottom of the ocean. The latency is a bit different there. But I think that's why we're seeing some issues like that. And then, you'll have hosts who are playing on literally Walmart Wi-Fi or like McDonald's Wi-Fi or whatever that they're sharing with the 30 other guests in that area that are doing that.
Right.
So because it's hosted locally and in sort of an ad hoc network and not just connecting to a central server, I believe that's why we're seeing the networking issues that we are.
Yeah, but it takes off the load of them too. Like, I mean,
for sure
makes a lot of sense to do it that way.
I mean, they don't have to rent like specific server space for that. I know they said they upgraded their like hosting servers and stuff. Was that the night after Multiplayer came out or something like that? So they are definitely trying to accommodate for that. And I believe that's one of the major drives behind taking it down for 2 weeks is that they are hopefully going to upgrade not only their hardware and their servers, but also their netcode, because there's a lot that they could do to mitigate the problems that we're seeing through the actual netcode itself, through optimizing that. So, hopefully they see what's up, and with all this data. Oh, hey, what's up, Buddha? We're in a lobby together.
Are we?
But hopefully with all this data that we're giving them, they can optimize this experience. Barlene has said that of the devices that should be able to play but are not currently capable of playing, when everything comes back, roughly 50% of those should be able to play.
I did see that.
And that's some pretty optimistic numbers, because there's a lot of models of phone out there.
Sure.
And then he was like, and the other 50% literally just don't meet the minimum requirements. Sorry.
Mm-hmm. It is what it is.
We meet again.
There's not a lot of lobbies. I'm telling you,
bro. I'm in all of them. So
people, that is true. That is true as well. Cool. Nice.
So after this, you want to talk about the Ark a little bit?
The Ark. I was gonna say, unless there's any last second, thoughts.
I mean, final thoughts on Degrogue. She's awesome. Not necessary, but awesome. She's kind of like a luxury, right? Like you don't need her for PvP, don't need her for PvE, but she'll be a lot of fun if you get her.
She's like Tsukasa 2.5.
Yeah. Okay. For PvE, definitely. Yeah. She has. Oh, she's great. I'm using her in tower right now, and it's just like. It's pathetic.
But that's
I slapped God mimicries. I think I'm using, which is totally ridiculous and way too overpowered. But I'm using Degrogue, Gen, V, and Memtheria, like 4 of the most powerful units in the game. Just because I don't care.
Tell me,
real quick, what do you think about the viability of a full god, full beast Alliance god?
Oh, you took my question, Krypt.
Bro, I think that's so fire. It's unreal.
It's gonna be so many stats.
You took my question. So
the only unfortunate part about it is that. So the difference between pre-battle stats and post-battle stats, or like in-battle stats, both of those, the Charisma and the Beast Alliance, don't necessarily stack with each other because they're amplifications on the pre-battle stats.
Right. It's on base. It's not compounding.
Right. So you're still going to be wanting to use high stats going into battle, which makes those stats become even bigger stats in battle. But I mean, you're still going to want stat ups. You're still going to want high boosts, like hammer high boosts and stuff like that, just to like boost those. I mean, it's going to be fantastic. It's just like an extra Dusk, or like, the Proud Force heals for everyone in the party is just absurd at that point.
It's going to be huge.
Yeah.
I love it.
Right.
I think it's going to be a really fun
the damage mitigation, just fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
So, Ark-wise, though, this is a sweet Ark, honestly. It's probably one of the better SSR Arks that we've had, and like from it directing, based on the passives, directing like how you're going to build your team, which doesn't cost that much to use 2SC on each person.
Yeah, minimal. Minimal investment.
The unit that gets this Ark, which I'm assuming is Degrogue or like whoever the heck you want to use, the passives are fantastic. They're very focused to survivability and PDPS at the same time. Just a very good Ark in general, honestly.
I'd almost want to opt it for a different character. So then it's 2. How much is a Mimicry? 2 SC? Mimicry?
Yeah. Mimicry is 2 SC.
So I guess it's not that big of a deal, but.
No, but the only unfortunate part is that when armor is equipped, it says the second aspect of it's gonna require you to not use dual wield, which, in that fact, just put it on someone that like a spellcaster and just throw armor on them. Like it doesn't really matter.
Oh, that's true too. I was gonna say Gorm.
Doesn't really matter.
Let's bring Gorm back.
Speaking of armor and that Ark, how's everybody feeling about that Ether reward?
That Ark Ether reward?
So good, dude.
I think it's going to be
pretty damn good.
Disgusting.
So one of the strongest defense armors we have, as well as being stun resist, and 5 dark resistant.
I always forget to look at those ailment resistances.
It's big time. Stun is big time, especially on an armor. We don't really have that.
I'm real excited to get that and throw it on somebody in arena, either like her or Tsukasa. Anybody who I'm going to be single wielding in arena. That armor is just
especially
I think it's better than a paid armor.
Yes, it is, 100%.
I like the move speed on her paid armor, but I think that overall is just a better piece of armor.
And I think if you're going to throw it on Degrogue, I think the God type only thing is good, but you don't need to focus on that as the main draw of the armor itself. Just in general, it's going to protect against Alice. It's going to protect against Roland. I mean, that's pretty much it. That's only light ones you're going to see in PvP. But very strong defense, very strong mind.
And she's innately pretty weak to light, right? She's got like negative 30 or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean that amount of mitigation is not inconsiderable for her.
Oh, going back to Degrogue, her skill, and clarify if it's if it means something different. The one where she like builds up light resistance passively. That's not going to help in PvP because it says per wave.
I think it will. I think that's.
So
I don't know the time frame of it though.
I think per wave means it resets every wave. So
Yes.
Mitigation starts building up. When wave ends, it resets and starts building up again.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right.
Correct.
Got
So
it.
it's not like Ale or whatever, where at the end of battle it triggers and then carries over into the next one.
So yeah, the
It's like-
longer you can keep her alive in PvP, that's going to help significantly.
Right, and you would assume after 60 seconds in a battle with 30 seconds left, it's going to be pretty high.
Yeah, it goes up
Now,
to like 50.
It doesn't say on incapacitation, so you would assume even if she dies a couple times in the flow of battle, that it's going to be beefing up as it goes along.
That'd be nuts.
Yeah. But
I mean,
yes,
that's good.
I'm
That's good
excited
for
for this.
anything long form, you know.
Yep, I'm excited for this AR. As you can see, I'm at 0% and haven't done anything because multiplayer is king. So we haven't touched this at all.
Yeah. Sadly.
But I haven't even
Grind
had
is
this
not
level
over.
10 yet because I've just been teaching Degrogue stuff and spending orbs whenever I feel because this is not like main priority. But
How weird does it feel to actually use the skill training dungeon?
not weird because whenever it's one orb, I spam that. Like, I love it.
There's actually a nice little tip is that because none of us read, the skill training dungeon. So like I think it's a special study dungeon is what
Yep.
it's called.
Mhm.
Is one event orb for 8 AP right now.
Yeah.
Usually it's 2 or
3.
3 or something.
3.
Yeah, so
The max
usually
of that
three.
is 3. Yes.
No kidding.
Yes, right here.
So
it's
very
right
high
now. It's
value.
1.
And especially in this specific circumstance where we have a new unit that's come out and we don't have like an event to build them in
Yep.
necessarily,
This is
because
huge.
she doesn't get bonus AP in anything except multiplayer, and everybody gets bonus AP in multiplayer.
And we get tons of free orbs right now. So if you really wanted to like build a unit quickly and not have to waste all those orbs, this is the way to do it.
For sure.
Because it
Heard.
gives 8x. It's fantastic.
I did not realize there was that cost and that cost
Oh, yeah.
reduction. That cost reduction. And I'm pretty
Oh,
sure
yeah.
I read it. I'm pretty sure I read it in my
Well, it's the
breakdown.
reading is different than understanding.
Or
if you just skim over it.
retaining.
Yes, exactly.
Yes. Yeah. Well, yeah. My retention period is like it's a squirrel. It's so bad. But
There's just always so much going on. It's so easy to get distracted, and especially
Yeah.
like right now because there's so much going on in the game.
Mhm.
It's very hard to like figure out what is truly worthwhile to do, and like everything has different timers. And okay, here's something I wanted to talk about: the multiplayer timer being wrong.
Yeah, I don't
Mhm.
know
How do
if
you
they
feel about
reset it because people's devices couldn't play or what, but they didn't really give an explanation about it, did they?
I don't think so. All they did was they changed the timer. So
Give us 5
In
extra days.
Japan, the timer said 298 days or something when it started. It was like the shop.
the shop.
period.
Yes.
For our trading space. So the entire time that ours was counting down 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, theirs was like 298, 297, 296. So like in their eyes, it was never going away. In our eyes, and I believe the common advice that was being given was grind this while it's here because it's only here for a week.
Yes.
They screwed up all of the advice that we were giving because we were working with bad information. I brought that up to the community manager. I asked point blank, I said, hey, Japan's timer and Global's timer are different on this. Which one is right?
Yeah.
And like, is there going to be a correction? And I got nothing. I got no
a
answer.
typical, so
So here's the
dodging
question, then.
wave.
is this right now?
Golly.
Like, is it really going away? I know we have that 2-week break of whatever,
So
but
on
is
the
this
31st,
even
they said they are going to take multiplayer back out for
Right.
2 weeks until the anniversary.
Yes, and then they're taking away Jala.
But
So
that's the thing. We don't know that.
Well, it says in the notification that they're replacing Jalabanga with another boss.
Gotcha. So they are officially doing that on the anniversary.
That's if you go to the Q&A news notification.
Do I have that in here?
Yeah.
I didn't get that in the mail. Tweacz, everybody got that in the mail. I don't see it.
Here we
I
go.
don't see
So
it.
yep, keep scrolling through. It's in one of these.
It was the one where it was like regarding multiplayer questions or whatever it is.
Right here.
Yeah.
Yes, one of those asterisks. I think the second one.
To a new quest. Okay.
Right?
So it is officially actually going away,
But
and we're getting something else.
We actually.
okay, fair enough.
Well, no, because there's
mean,
there's another one. There's two.
Here's the
There's
thing. You
Jala.
could read that two different ways. It could be saying they could just change the name to a multiplayer beta limited quest. They could just change it to a different named quest.
Mm.
Not necessarily change it from Jalabanga, because
Just-
I would assume the timer on the Jalabanga quest in JP is still accurate. Like, it will still be active after.
I think they changed that one. I think they changed
They
the
did change
JP
it?
one to be matched to ours now. But you would have
okay.
to ask like Kim or one of the other JP players.
That makes sense.
Because I seem to recall having talked with somebody about that, like when they corrected ours as well, when everything came back up.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Oh wait, no. What am I doing? Back to the Ark for a second.
Yes.
Because I think there's a couple things on the Ark that need talked about that I haven't been able to test yet, unfortunately, because I haven't been the most. I mean, I've been grinding multiplayer, so like it's not a big deal. This is not a big deal to me, but this Berserker skill, I think, is going to be a very good skill. Depending on the HP decrease, but even without how big that HP decrease is, I assume it's like Spirit of Ifrit, where it's like every 4 or 6 seconds you get like 5% health dropped. Which is not a lot, to be honest. I actually like. So since I run Emtheria in most of my parties and I give her only Glass Record, I actually like when units are dropping HP because she'll automatically use it in PvE.
Right.
And that just gives a huge boost to everyone. So this paired with like no Proud Force is gonna be very good for an Emtheria Glass Record build. Like just an auto build that she'll cast that stuff and heal them, and they get more SC. Because this damage is plus 30% damage is very good for 8 SC.
For sure.
Very, very good. I mean, you lose Pride, you lose like the 100 SC or 100 HP, 100% HP boost, but who cares anymore? Honestly.
I mean, how much is Pride? 10%?
I mean, I don't know. I'm just comparing it to Spirit of Ifrit.
No, I
But,
meant
like,
the
how much
go ahead,
value
Chris.
are you exchanging? Because it's 8 SC. So for 8 SC, you can get what 10% crit from Ardor and like 15 or 20% strength or whatever it is from Pride.
Right.
In exchange, you're getting 30% flat damage.
Well, just to compare it to Sword High Boost, Sword High Boost is a flat 30% at 9 SC.
Right.
That's all I would compare it to. I mean,
I was saying in exchange for Ardor and Pride because you
Right.
can't. I mean, you can have them both active. You're just not going to get full activation time out of those.
yeah, I think it's more beneficial than both of those put together, to be honest.
Correct.
Do you know if Emtheria's barrier will eat the damage from?
I don't know. I'm assuming it won't because
That
it's
makes
more of
sense.
it's probably calculated like Spirit of Ifrit, where it does. It's just like a flat. It takes it out because the barrier is relevant to damage received, not necessarily
Right.
damage just like taken away.
Right. It
Yeah.
deducts your health. It doesn't do damage to you.
Right.
Mhm.
Okay.
But I mean, again, that needs testing. I don't know, and no one's mentioned that, and I think we've asked over the past couple of days, but I haven't tested it all.
I mean, character's been out for one day. There's a handful of people with this character, like even partially built.
Yes, and like I said, I rely on Tweacz for all those PvE tests.
And I have been slacking.
And he has
Multiplayer is
been
God.
he's had another mission. He's been on another mission, which sadly, it was like what's the phrase when it was okay, it was good, but it was bad to me that the multiplayer refreshed, because I was like, on one hand, I'm like, oh well, now I can get the green ring, which I really want for PvP, but on the other hand, I have to grind that grind again. And
it was like, we could finally do something else. Oh,
right.
Wait.
And it takes Tweacz away from his testing.
I mean, priorities, man. What are you gonna do?
I know. It's just I understand. I get it.
I'm seeing in chat, Damos has the data mine value for this.
He does. Well, Lake, I think, had it. Lake has it.
Yes, he got it from. All right. So, if that is true, I don't hate that at all.
I'm gonna switch over to chat.
It says 13 to 15% of HP at 6-second ticks, which is similar to Aphri, but a little bit more damage. I don't hate that at all. A lot of the times in my PvE builds, I don't run Proud Force on anyone anyways, just so people get damaged. So Theria will Bam Glass Record. So if that's like an automatic thing, I love that. Of course, it's not going to be really useful in PvP. I would say don't use this in PvP because that's a lot of damage to not be able to be healed very fast. I mean, dude,
I'm interested.
If you've got Proud Force, 6-second ticks, that's a long time. That's not draining your health.
When you run like a full self-destruct team that is all Berserk, all Spirit Ifrit,
right?
That just has massive damage boosts, but eats themselves alive.
But everyone has Awaken and From Zero and all that kind of stuff. Yep. Yeah,
right. And then you throw Theria in there with Glass Record, and you just laugh.
Yeah,
they will eat themselves. She
kidding.
will heal them all. They will kill everyone. It's gonna be great.
No kidding.
It's pretty funny. But another thing on this arc is this new skill, Luxia's Protection.
I mean,
just like most of the skills in the game, I think it's just like another multiplicative damage output. Like it's just a luxury skill at that point.
It's 9.
It's good. Honestly, that's not bad for 7%.
You don't think?
7% less damage from everything except for God. That's pretty good.
Because of the way it multiplies into other damage.
Yeah, it's a separate damage mitigation.
Yeah, I'm now recently coming to understand the importance of multipliers multiplying into each other.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
That I did not. I would read, like with Degrogue's kit, for example, I'd read the Dark Drive and the Dark High Boost, and you read the flat 10%, 15%, 5%, and it doesn't seem significant, but when they all come together, it's just like a ramping up. It's an exponential.
Oh yeah.
Increase in capabilities. That's why, like, now I've got a completely different perspective on unit building when I realize, I don't need advanced aim vitals and aim vitals and all these crit ups when I can use all that SC to put on flat damage multipliers, physical damage multipliers, and strength ups and attack ups and things that are going to bring up my white caps because I'm already critting. On my crits, I'm capping innately without any extra help.
Right.
So that has definitely helped me, and I think we should do a podcast in the near future on theory crafting behind unit builds, because it's a perspective thing that can change.
And that is
absolutely.
That's tough to do because of all of the mechanics that go into unit building.
Sure.
Well, it's just individual to unit. Like, we could do a full podcast on any individual unit and theory crafting them, because there's some that have innate very, very high base stats and very high base stat boosts. And then there are characters like Degrogue who have like really, really high innate multipliers. So like in that case, if you do want to put on, just straight up strength or whatever, you're going to get huge returns because it's like, okay, well, we take, it's 70 strength or whatever, but you take that and then you multiply that through the damage formula, and then you tack on an extra 50% for Slayer and another 50% on that for special boost, and then 50% from Sharp Eyes, and then and you see where this goes. Like you see how that gets out of control.
Yep. No doubt.
And I don't think we're even privy to the entire damage formula, as far as I know.
No.
I
It's
don't
more of
think
just
we
like
know
testing
exactly how it works.
and feeling it out. That's all we can do.
Interesting.
But
Yeah.
she
She's
has
nuts. Well, and she has high base stats.
right, which I haven't been able to see
Yeah,
yet.
she does.
But yes, she and even at these base stats, she crushes.
I think.
Yeah,
Well, I mean,
she's-
if you look at her, her maxed out whatever on when you're checking them out on their gotcha banner, I think she's at like over 1,300 strength.
Well, that will be nice when I actually get there.
That's wacky.
I mean,
That's pretty wacky.
I did not know
I
that.
actually
I don't
saw
really-
that. Shout out to Big MCC. He put out his video where he pointed that out. I was looking at 1349.
So 1130 and int is actually very good too.
Holy crap! Yeah,
Yeah.
that's a huge amount of strength. See, we have Thaumaturgy Ring, right? That makes skills scale off of intelligence. Now we need the opposite. We need something that makes magic scale off of strength. Which, like, I feel like that would have been really great on Chrome, kind of as a concept. Just because of how that universe exists and everything.
Yep.
And he's like the material collector or whatever. But no, I think we need something that makes magic scale off of strength. I think that would like crack open a lot of new possibilities for units.
Yep.
The only way we can make mages good is to make all of the non-mages also mages, I guess, is what I'm getting at.
Right. Yeah, I would like to see a push for that kind of shift in meta.
I mean,
Very cool to
Degrogue
see.
is a very competent PDPS and magic DPS. She can fulfill either role extremely well.
Do we know about her scaling? Is she a 1-to-1, or do we need to do more testing?
I need to do more testing.
Yeah, we don't know.
If she was, because her kit's mostly based off of adding to dark damage, not strength.
Sure.
Right. Multipliers.
So if I would argue, because her strength is higher, you should build strength first. But if she is 1-to-1, and you can take advantage of Science Flag, if you can take advantage of
Oh my god.
Moonlight and Fast Aura and stuff, she could be kind of nutty if you build her like side mage / PDPS with int.
She's going to crush people into tiny little cubes with her.
Yeah, and that requires testing, but I think she'll be. I mean, she's pretty awesome regardless of how she's built.
So I'll be looking forward to when y'all really deep dive, when multiplayer finally gets out of here.
I mean, I'm kind of using multiplayer to teach her stuff.
Sure.
Because you can do the thing where you run a level 1 Ark and you get AP and all the skills anyway. So I'm using that to cheaply teach her a bunch of stuff. Because it's really hard to keep up with all of my blue and red souls because I keep getting all these arcs, like first world problems, right? Why can't I hold all of these new arcs?
Yep.
But so that's been really nice. But no, she's coming along pretty quickly. And as Tweacz can attest, I sent him a message yesterday. I was like, all right, I've got these 3 skills. What other couple things do I need to cap out on Bird? And we had a very brief discussion about that. And now we're capping on Bird.
And you're welcome.
When we're doing that. I wasn't too far off base.
Nah, you were good.
I do always like to check with Tweacz because he is the guy who knows all the stuff, even more so than everybody else.
He's the PVE. I see him as the
It's
PVE
kinda fucking
god,
annoying.
and
I'm sorry.
freaking
Anyway.
toxic.
The most toxic person in the galaxy.
It's like opening the doors to a library, right? And it's filled with wonderful, fantastic books. But the entire time you're there, there's somebody following you around, correcting you every time you're wrong. And that's one way to teach, right? That's one way to teach.
Yeah. Tweacz is
that's
definitely he's blunt. He's blunt. You don't hold much back. Okay.
No, whatever.
Whatever.
It's
Anyway,
fine.
we're at 1:04 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So on that note, should we move and do some Q&A? Do we have questions popping up? Are you guys interested in asking questions? It was a little quiet last time, but we got some more people in the house this time. Do you have any questions on your in your chat, Crypt?
I've had people asking a couple things. Unfortunately, my memory is extremely short. Hang on.
You're good.
Let me see if I can find something.
Okay. We'll open it up. I'm on the chat section, so I'll wait if you guys have specific questions on your Degrogues, if you pulled her. Yeah. It's that time.
While we're doing that, I might as well run some
Run
one of these.
Yeah, just another day in paradise.
Mm.
Card replied.
Somebody asked if I'm going to replace Tsukasa with Degrogue. Probably not. I mean, maybe like for fun, I'll do a couple runs like that. I think running them together could be a whole lot of fun. Yeah, Virza, if you got questions, throw them back out.
Here's one for you.
Yeah.
Here's one for both of you, I would imagine. BB Shin build an arena. Some have as a monster. What is the key to this?
I can answer that pretty easily. Slayer's special boost. So if he has God Slayer already innate, but if you want to vary into other types like Soldier, Sorcerer, that's what I use. I use God. I use Soldier and Slayer, Soldier and Sorcerer as well on him. But you keep him single wield, but you also throw in anything that goes on crits. So you want all the crit damage on him, because if you are hitting an 18,999 or 17,999 cap, that's what you want on BB Shin. You want him to cap, because no one's being or getting awakened off if you hit him with her 17,999 skill. You want those instant shots.
Yeah, it's all crits and damage multipliers all the way down.
Yep. He's pretty simple. You can build him like beefy if you want, but I just go straight strength and just try to maximize that damage.
Yep. Absolutely. Okay. Virziel asked, has Tweacz tried the Berserker Ifrit Militia combo? I don't think either of us have done that yet because neither of us have Berserker.
Yep.
Yeah, and Militia is actually one of the highest nuker, like HP nukers in the game. I think it's very fast.
Militia or Sulfur Pond? I would do Sulfur Pond, right? Because you get the dark resist.
I mean,
am I wrong there? Am I off base?
You do get like what 20% or 20 res down every time you use a skill. It's like a baby Trishula.
I think so.
I don't know.
Like it also drains your life, right? And if you've got here's another thing. How do you feel about like Sulfurina on Degrogue? And does Sulfurina scale with
it scales off of your intelligence.
Okay.
So the damage it will do, which is not significant in the first place, but I just kind of use that on my Bayland as like another source of allure.
Right.
But the skill itself is not great. No, it doesn't do much damage at all. It's just like baby tick damage.
Gotcha. Yeah, I had somebody asking if like Thaumaturgy Ring would affect Sulfurina, but hearing that it scales just straight off intelligence, one, it wouldn't in the first place. Like it wouldn't matter because it would just add int scaling. But two, I think that's only skills, right? Like only skills get the extra scaling from Thaumaturgy Ring.
Yes.
And since it's not technically a skill, it's like a passive. It probably wouldn't benefit. Yeah.
It's based on like the base stats.
Fair enough. I still think there's probably a real fun build in there just for all the allure, right? You make her as attractive as possible, which apparently you don't need to help.
I mean, but there's the thing. She does get boost to the dark damage anyways. So like, if it's gonna be a good on a unit, it's gonna be her. She's probably the best candidate for it.
So it does get bonus damage from like dark scaling.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
Demos is saying that Sulfurina is magic damage. So do you think
that's why it's based off of? It's based. I mean, I don't know. I would assume so.
Interesting.
It just depends how it's coded, I guess.
Make her
just to clarify, Bacon
to stand next to.
Bacon asked about the holy water. Yes, it gives +2 on its. It gives +2 to nil, but it Wells gives an extra +2 based on its description. So yes, it's +4 overall for holy water.
That's stupid.
What? It's great.
That's what I
It's
mean.
great,
It's
yeah.
stupid with 2 O's.
It's one of those. It's one of those must take into PvP things.
Clearly. That's honestly what if I had to vote on next week's topic, if y'all would like to hear this as well, let us know. I want to deep dive into PvP because your boy just hit gold 1 and I'm about to reach, I'm about to try and dip my hand into the Super League, which is a whole different.
I mean, early Super League is not very much different from.
Yeah,
Sure.
once you start getting to like 7, 8K, it'll change. But
My team did last about 70 seconds fighting Deimos, so I was proud of that. I've come a long way.
There you go.
But I don't think I got a single kill off, which I probably shouldn't have mentioned. But I did last. It was not a wipe.
You didn't just immediately die.
Exactly.
You just died slowly over time.
I've got my caster, I've got my 2 DPS, and I've got my Mteria, which is kind of hacks, but
such hacks. Easy mode PvP and PvE.
Rithik also came with follow-up question: BB Shin versus Alice in Arena. Who would you recommend? And I just want to chime in first. I would say BB Shin because of DB Ray. Yes or no?
it depends. So BB Shin is definitely the better attacker. You're gonna want to manual him and just nuke people. But Alice is just so tanky and fantastic typing, and has so much more survivability that she's way better on defense.
Even with DB Ray running all over the place?
Yeah, she's just fantastic in defense. But
Because I mean, you just stick Godslayer on her.
So here's the thing: she is super weak to Thunder, but her typing makes up for it. There's no DB Rays that are going to be running Machine Slayer realistically. No one really prepares for Alice because she's not that common. But she can pump out. You can put Slayers on her and pump her out on defense. She's one of those units that like are very underappreciated in Arena. Just because people see her typing or her element resistance, and then there's like, oh, I don't want to use her because there's so many DB Rays. But if you take the factor out that people are going to be running Slayers and Special Boost on DB Ray to counter most other units, she's kind of like, it's kind of a trade-off. Like she's going to be a little better in damage mitigation for herself.
I'm responding through typing. I don't know why.
I see that. I see that.
He said Alice ult does damage though, but like we've discussed before, ultimates really aren't a thing in PvP.
No, if you're hitting an ult in PvP, you're probably
you could build your
wrong.
Team better.
Right.
Not better, but
deliberately doing it, or you have gone horribly astray somewhere.
Well, here's the thing: if we're going to be doing a PvP podcast, I think we should save a lot of build stuff for that time.
We should. Are there any? I literally have only read Rithik's questions, and I don't know if I'm.
I mean, I'm seeing not really many other ones, but
I got a question about the. Have we talked about the final Shin event and the grind? Horror/tough boss, and it's a horror, right?
It's a horror Dallas, yeah.
Boss. Okay, I haven't done it at all because multiplayer.
Yep.
Surprise. Luckily, there's still like 19, 18 days, something like that left in it. So we will probably have time to talk about this maybe next time.
Yeah, I think so.
But I remember from last time this was like a thing, right? Everybody was having trouble with it unless you happen to have Glukeel,
of course,
who is basically purpose built for this, and like using event equipment helps a whole lot because they have specific boosts for this event. So once you get those max enhanced, that'll help you out. Actually, I don't even think it's max. I think it's like halfway there or something.
It's like a level 30 enhances when the extra effects start taking into going on.
So as you build those up, it helps a lot. But yeah, this grind, especially for the shield last time, was super garbage, and this time apparently isn't much better. There their way of mitigating that is, okay, well, here's 600 event potions over the course of the month. Good luck.
Which is all going towards multiplayer.
Which is
at
all
least
going
in my
towards multiplayer.
case. Yeah.
For me, yes. In the next
Absolutely.
5 days, absolutely.
Yeah. That was another thing. I was looking forward to switching pace, and I was like, oh, I can actually get to these like 5 events that have been shit out. And nope, not happening. So now I get 2 weeks to do all of it at this point of assumption.
Which, I mean, is fine. That means we're going to have something to do once multiplayer goes away, unless they find something else to throw at us, which they might.
I hope not. There's a balance.
Cloudia has been breakneck pace lately.
They have, which I'm fine with, because content.
Yeah, oh, absolutely. Agree. It means that there's always something to stream, which is nice. There's always like something going on. But it's a little bit exhausting. This is like, what, 3 weeks straight? More than 3 weeks straight? A month straight? Where it's just been like there's always something to grind. There was the DMC event. There was the Dr. Stone event. There's this going on now. I never stopped doing arena. And anytime there was like any lull at all, it's like, okay, I guess we're going to the arena.
Go to arena.
Very, very close to 100K now. I think we're at like 97K.
Nice. When does it reset?
The anniversary, so 15th.
Oh, so you're chilling.
Oh yeah, for sure. Somebody asked me last night what my plan is once I hit 100K, and I was like, well, if nobody gets a wild hair up their ass and decides to chase me, I will probably chill and find some fun meme number to hang out at, and just wait for reset to happen.
Nice.
Just go into hibernation a little bit there.
Yeah, you deserve it. All right. Any we kind of did our 15 minutes. I'm just processing that I'm about to do this multiplayer grind again, and I'm kind of dreading it. So,
more multiplayer, always multiplayer.
So it sounds like we'll have a lot to bring back into discussion next week with Degrogue and her Ark and Berserker, some of those skills. Next week, and then maybe some event grinding stuff, but we can talk about that afterwards.
Might be able to actually take a second and talk about the PB Shin, Glukiel, and Logia events that have been going on for 2 weeks now.
Yeah, that most.
Yeah, whoops.
Well,
so I've been fortunate enough where I've just yes, I grind multiplayer, but I do a lot joining lobbies. So my orbs have been, and I've already got all the coins. So or the rings. So I've just been spending my orbs into those events, just finishing them up.
Nice.
Absolutely, and I mean that's a totally fair thing to do. Once you accomplish your multiplayer goals, be it 1 ring, 2 rings, 3 rings, whatever, however insane you are.
Yeah.
Whatever your sanity tolerance for grinding is, once you've expended that, absolutely go and do those events. Some of the stuff from them is really cool. It may not be meta or top tier, but the paladin gear, for instance, I believe you have to enhance it to get it, but once you get enough pieces of it, it's basically innate quick trigger, which is it's only a 6 SC save, and it takes all 3. It takes an armor slot or a weapon slot and both accessory slots, or some combination of those. Right. But having quick trigger when otherwise that's only available on a UR arc or a very limited arc, or a seasonally limited arc, or a handful of characters, is a very powerful thing, especially for new accounts. So don't sleep on getting and enhancing your event gear, because there is some really cool stuff from here. The Logia event too has some good weapons and stuff like that.
I like it.
Awesome.
I like it.
Don't sleep on it.
Cool. We'll talk about it more next week for sure.
Yeah, for sure.
That's a good note to leave off. So, alrighty. I think that's all we got for you guys. So, thank you for coming out. And y'all know what we say. Work hard, play harder. See you on the next podcast.